So again, I'm Michelle Drennan, Alumni Association Coordinator, and Anne Vale, who's an MSP, Master's in Psychology alumni. We'd like to kind of give you an overview of who Divine Mercy University is. First of all, we are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, and that's very important. You always want to look at a college that has all their accreditations, and we're able to award master's and a doctorate degree. We've been around since about 1998, and we are very excited that the growth that we're seeing throughout all of our programs. We also have local accreditation through SHEV, and those are some of the Washington area, because we are out of, that's almost DC, but it's Sterling, Virginia. So you have to have state accreditations as well. That's funny, Anne, because you asked, there's Dr. Clousley and there's Father Charles presenting some degrees. Not this past weekend, but one not too long ago. So how are we different? Well, first of all, we do masters in psychology and online very, very well. During COVID, many people came to us and really tried to get advice as far as the way we do online masters. So the classes are synchronous. And what that means is you have the opportunity to do the courses any time of day that you are available. You do not have to be in class at a certain time. Now, you will have meetings from time to time and lectures that you have to listen to, but how we do it is to make sure that we deliver courses, maximize flexibility, it's convenient, and it does change your heart and your head and your life for the better. You do have to find those hours to be able to go through the degree, but people find their stride, so they really have an opportunity to make sure that they're getting their studies done and living their life and using that degree right away with what they're learning. All of our faculty are experts in their fields. They are PhDs. They are people who often are in practice of their counselors, or perhaps are behavioral analysis people if they're still working in the field. We find that our psychological training is applicable to a wide variety of professional and ministry settings. Does everybody know what they're going to do when they come into the degree? Absolutely not. But many times people are on a goal, and throughout the program, they know exactly what they want to do. We are informed and infused by our unique Catholic Christian meta model. What does that mean? Many schools teach psychology, and they only teach the science of psychology. As I'll let Anne say in just a few minutes, in our psychology, you learn the whole person. And that's very, very important, because you're not just learning a science, you're learning how to assist people in their life. So what are the benefits? We gain a deeper understanding of self and others, the functioning behaviors. A lot of personal and professional development goes on. We gain skills to aid individuals and groups in flourishing. We also help to evaluate critically one's own biases, assumptions, attitudes, and their effect on decision-making, planning, and interpersonal communication and working in teams. So Anne, take a second and tell this group of people who are listening to the webinar just a quick overview of how even in the beginning, you started to see the subjects really impacting your life.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Michelle. One of the wonderful elements in this program, as Michelle said, is that this is a study of the entire person, mind, body, and soul. And in today's secular society, where there's a very relativistic view, we look at how we are made, in the image and likeness of God, and to have respect for everyone, regardless of their circumstances, to treat people with empathy, but at the same time, to also help to lead them to have a better understanding of their lives and how they can flourish, to help them develop their own plans. And what's great throughout the program is each one of us as students works on a flourishing development plan. And each course that you take, you develop this plan. So you take a look at your own life and how you can grow spiritually, emotionally, as well as how you can help others in a variety of ways, whether it's an actual career that you choose, or whether it's something you're doing in your church or your community as a volunteer. there are many different ways to apply what you learn in the program. And for me, it was really a very transformative experience.
Thank you. I'll have you say some other things throughout this as my co-host. Interesting story. People in the cohorts do become very close. Anne is about to embark on a short vacation with one of the gals in her cohort, Bernadette, and Bernadette is actually a life coach. Is that correct? Yes. So they
Yes.
become very close and they're going to spend some time together.
Right.
Okay, so how are these advanced skills and what does it include? Again, the ability to recognize mental challenges, how to effectively communicate, negotiate, the importance of interpersonal relationship building, how to lead a team through crisis, get advanced training, strategies for program evaluation, fostering very increased cultural awareness. So something we have now, Anne, that we didn't have when you graduated, we have actually added through many people asking about this, what we call some concentrations so that people might choose to go a specific direction in marriage and family, in human services, which can be in the industry, it can be in the enforcement of law area, the governmental system. Leadership is a big one right now. It's not always easy to find leaders in companies. A pre-PhD for those who think that somewhere down the line they might be interested in that. And also a self-design, which is also kind of very popular because many people can pick and choose, and we'll look at those courses here in a minute. It is 100% online. What does that mean? It means that about 15 to 17 hours a week, you've got to find that time. Is that about right, Anne? Is that about what it took you? Okay.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, because I like to give that timeline. I will share with you that this is not for someone who wants to become a licensed counselor. You do not go out and get a license to become a counselor. However, I will tell you this, it's very important to note that the individuals who go through this program find that they're not called to counseling because counselors spend all their life fixing broken people. Whereas the master's in psychology helps you fix people before they get broken. That's about as simplistic as I could put it, but those are the skills that one does procure. So one of the things to notice, you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 courses at the top. Everybody, no matter which of the programs they choose as far as a concentration, will take those courses. However, as you look at marriage and family concentration, we've added social psychology, groups and diversity. Excuse me. The electives are the ones down at the bottom. I apologize. Marriage and family systems theory, flourishing in relationships, theology of the body, marriage and family interventions. And so the rest of those courses, everybody takes from the standpoint of whatever they choose as a concentration. So in human services, those electives would be relationship and intervention skills, personality, individual differences in intelligence, group counseling and group work. And one of the things that priests have told me and students have told me, I start using everything that I'm learning in the first 8 weeks. And I become a better priest, or I become a better wife, or a better manager, or a better husband. So I think that's the very wonderful reality about the way we're structured. I'm going to stop just a second and see what the chat says. Just joined on my PC. I was logged in from my vehicle. Thank you, Jenny from Illinois. Michelle Pham to everyone. That was elegant. Great quote. I'm assuming she was talking about the difference between counseling and MSP. Thank you all. I appreciate it. And put anything in the chat you want to, and I usually stop and talk about it. So the next one would be if somebody wanted to choose the leadership psychology. And that would be, again, the same courses that everyone takes, 8 weeks at a time, and transformational leadership, leading people, programs, and organizations, and applying leadership skills. And Anne's going, wow, they didn't have that when I started the program. But a lot of it was because people were asking for those things. And we like to adapt according to what's going on in the world. And the PhD, pre-PhD is for that person who really is not really sure that they'd ever want to pursue their PhD, but you do a huge elective on scientific thesis, psychological research, and writing. So that's the different ones. And the self-design has become very popular because there are those individuals who say, well, I'd like to have one out of that category and one out of that category and one out of that category. So as you look at all of them, you can choose that. We like to hope that you will start on what you want when you first start and take that pathway. There have been situations where people, say, I'd really like to change over, but it is much, much better for you to go ahead and choose that on your own path. All right, career opportunities. I'm going to have Anne, she does a diverse amount of things in what she has done with her degree. Could you share that a little bit before we go over some of these career opportunities, Anne?
Certainly. And I just wanted to mention, I do recall taking a couple of leadership classes at the end of our program, which were wonderful. I actually have a PhD in organizational leadership from
That's right.
university. And so I highly recommend the courses in leadership as well. At the time that I started the program, I was a retired elementary school teacher. I had also been an adjunct professor in leadership at Regent University, but I had retired. My parents were aging and needed some assistance. So at the time I lived in Sarasota, Florida, and I used my musical skills because I had been a music teacher to entertain various assisted living facilities and nursing homes. But I also saw a great need to have a better understanding of the residents there, the various aspects of dementia and Alzheimer's and various things that happen. So I found that this program helped me to become more than just an entertainer, but I also, in fact, my capstone project focused on how I could help these groups with reminiscence therapy, becoming a good listener, and trying to really reach their emotions through music and these little groups. But then what happened, of course, I ended up moving back to Rhode Island, my home state. COVID hit, and I really didn't have those opportunities to work with the elderly. But this is a flexible kind of a program. I had started a women's group at my church. We focused mostly on writing. And that was a wonderful opportunity because through writing, we often reveal special parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily reveal in our daily conversation. And, the women who came, some of them did have some emotional needs and so forth. And I felt this program really helped me in that regard. Now, what's happening in the near future, I joined a musical group where we're waiting for a grant to come to fruition, but we're hoping in the next few months as a group to go into Alzheimer's units once again.
That's beautiful.
So that's basically what I wanted to say.
That's great. So, it's really interesting because Anne is one of what I say we have 5 different kinds of students. One is a lifetime learner. She just knows that she wants to continue reinventing herself. One is the person fresh out of a bachelor's degree. They've decided they want to go forward. The other, we do have an awful lot of people that are religious, deacons. We have nuns, we have priests, because they'll say, I did not know that I was going to be dealing these kinds of things in the church that I wasn't trained to do 20 years ago. And then we just have the individual who just has a passion to go through this degree and make a choice of what direction they want to go. And Anne mentioned a capstone. We feel so strong about our graduates' capstones that we actually print the capstone title in the graduation program. And I just got back from graduation, so I'm still, just on a high of the excitement of seeing all my students that I put in the program back when I was in master's 2 years ago. But you had some time to gaze at some of these psychology career opportunities that are on here. And it's just amazing what it opens up for you. I often tell people just go on a site and say positions that require a master's in psychology. It's a very diversified, whether you want to teach or you want to do something for the church, or you want to be executive coach, or you want to be technicians and caseworkers. It's very exciting to see all the areas that are open. As Anne just said, a lot of people work in healthcare. There are many opportunities for individuals who are working in healthcare, whether it's, grief management, working with the elderly, group homes. I just got a job lead the other day in Cincinnati. I live in Cincinnati, and they are starting out and they want people to actually live in the maternity home for about a year to help these young women who are with child, to teach them all the kinds of opportunities are going to help them and their child be successful. So what a altruistic, wonderful thing, but a person would actually live there and do it. And the requirements were very related to some of the things we do. In the area of business, sales, marketing, advertising, as you can see, I'm not going to read every one of those to you, but you can just see all the different areas it opens up. Public relations, project coordinators, sales representative. And because you are getting these leadership opportunities, you start a lot of times at a company and you go up very quickly because you know how to build teams and you know how to work in a very solid fashion of caring that you learn in the master's in psychology. So again, a lot of individuals in the diocesan area, many folks who are in parishes and dioceses, a lot of individuals that are working in all areas as far as colleges, university, high schools. So it does open that up for you as well. Let me look at this question up here. My career goals are to be an adoption specialist, social worker. This may be a rather specific question, but do you think this program would help me be further equipped and qualified for such a vocation? So one of the things that I would say to you is, if there's a specific area that's an adoption place in your area, whether it's working privately with attorneys or it isn't, there are many of those kinds of places. I oftentimes will say, when you look at the course descriptions in this coursework, I would say you absolutely would be. It is not a social worker, but it is identified as a person who can really read parents, read the situations that are going on so that they could help this young person be put into a qualified placement. I think that's fair to say, don't you, Anne?
Oh, absolutely. Another thing I neglected to say is I'm part of a mentorship program at Regent University. For the last 2 years, I was a mentor to a graduate student in leadership, and it was, again, all online. And she just graduated down in Virginia Beach, and I finally had the wonderful opportunity to meet her in person. And so I would say definitely this would be a great program for you.
Absolutely. And this next screen actually kind of shares that with you, that there are people in child protection, family services, individuals who are working in nonprofits. And there are, Catholic Charities still is a very big adoption center, and they have hired many of our graduates. And I have another chat or Q&A. Thank you. Okay. Excellent. But yes, I think, because I will want you at some point, I send you the actual career, the content, so that you can kind of see exactly what is included in there. And you will see that you gain those skills that could make that happen. Another big area, not just because we're in the Washington, D.C. area, but all over, local, state, and federal governments throughout, many states are in fact hiring our individuals in the different ones that you see right here, from parole officers to psychology program manager to a social service manager. You do not necessarily have to have social work. That is a different. I worked in hospice for a year in education, and I was very interested to see the difference between the social worker and the person who was the person who was more in a psychology role that helped the families decide for sure that their relative was ready for hospice, if that makes sense. So ministry, again, lots of youth pastors, RCIA directors, pregnancy centers, leaders in churches and houses of worship, because again, our churches need those kind of individuals to lead and grow the people in their flock. So again, just to reiterate, online classrooms, you have the ability to work anytime, anywhere, as long as you have internet and a computer. Can't do this on your iPad, you can't do it on your phone. So you do absolutely have to have a computer. It is flexible. You do have the same atmosphere, full student participation, and people go, how can that be? You're online. Well, because you do a lot of chats and posts and you learn to know these people. You'll have your favorites, just like Anne's going to visit her good friend. You get responsiveness from your professors and your peers. Professors will say, my goodness, we have amazing students who sometimes we learn things from. So if I'm doing an interview with you, and some of you may actually set up a time, and I hope you do, to go a little deeper into that, I always ask, what's your best learning mode? And the nice thing about us is we cover them all: video, audio, classroom, tutorials, anything that any kind of different person, the way they learn, it's very important. I often ask too, do you like to write? Because you do write small but meaningful papers. If you don't like to write, you're going to become a better writer in this and find that you will express yourself and be able to share with those around you. For those of you who have taken any online classes, you may or may not be familiar with what the platform is. Some people use, we use Canvas. Some people use Blackboard, but we found that Canvas is especially good because some people come in and they've been away from school for a while. So they get an orientation on how to man that, woman that, so that they really understand how to use it and put their stories in, work with the students or work with each other as far as what you need to know and talk with each other. And that's 24/7. You know, I'm a person who gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And that was, time when I took courses before. That's my best time. Some people want to do it at night after work. Some people do it on weekends. But again, I say you find a stride, because it's kind of like, if you like audiobooks and you're listening to one in the car and you just can't wait to get back in the car and listen. That's what it is about the next assignment or the next course, is you're very excited about, again, being engaged. So who teaches us? Well, Dr. Clousley, as Anne asked, is in fact the program director. She's really brought the program sky high as far as opportunities and opened up job areas. Assistant professor and Angela Williamson, Giovanni, most of these people are indeed PhDs. Usually Robin Trapto, very bright, very fun, is your first instructor. Anna Pecoraro, very interesting woman. She's not only very educated, but also an opera singer. And then Christopher Gross is hands down one of everybody's favorites. He kind of brings out the best in everybody. But I think what it does, it really puts you in touch with so many different kinds of people. In a traditional college, you really wouldn't be going to, to school with a priest or a missionary from another country. You wouldn't be working with business executives and stay-at-home moms. You're really, really getting a whole sense of, perhaps in the future, the kinds of people that you will work with. So I think that's a very crucial part of what we do. Okay, so this is another thing that wasn't around, Anne, when you started the program. We've decided that there are those people that are in such a hurry and have extra time that they can get through the program in 16 months. There's a little reduction on the tuition. However, from a time factor, you got to find about 25 to maybe 28 hours a week to do it that fast. You don't take 2 courses every single 8 weeks, but in some of them you do, and they lay that out for you so you know. But the normal program, like Anne graduated from, you take 8-week courses, takes 26 months. You also have several weeks of break, holiday breaks, holidays, that kind of thing. But some people, that's just the pace that they're able to take the degree. So what does it require? Well, you must have a baccalaureate. It does not have to be in psychology. It can be in any field, but we do have to have a minimum of a 2.5 GPA, although most people come in with a 2.75 or a 3. We do need, if a person, we don't require a GRE, by the way, but if a person is foreign born and they have not taken English and courses in English, we do ask them to take a TOEFL test just to make sure we're not putting people in a program that's over their head that they can't manage. 2 letters of recommendation from a priest, perhaps a previous boss in your employment, a resume, including your employment and other significant history, and then a written statement of intent. How you look at this program and say, wow, this is a fit for me. And we want it to be a fit. As I often say when I interview people, if this is the right fit for you, I want to help you get through this and get through the acceptance process. But we're not for everybody because it's intense. but the outcomes are worth every bit of the journey. So how do I afford it? Well, one of the things about Divine Mercy is we are a nonprofit. So we do have some donors, and you probably got a few scholarships when you came on board. Almost everybody does. Like right now, because we only have one more class, and that starts in August. We give a $1,500 early application scholarship, plus some of the others that you can actually write essays for. And some people are lucky enough to have employer tuition reimbursement. Some people are VA approved. And then we do want you to apply for many of the scholarships and grants to reduce your tuition. And although you can't get grants like you did with your bachelor's, you can fill out your FAFSA. And there are some unsubsidized Stafford loans and Graduate Plus loans to help you through it. When they work with you in financial aid, they do everything within their power to make sure it's affordable. You know, some of the priests are helped by private funds, agencies, and some people saying, you know, I've been saving this for a long time. I'd like to set up a cash plan with the balance and have it be interest free. So again, we just work with everybody from that standpoint. And what is the tuition? We currently are excited about the fact that we are keeping it as low as we can. If you go the route of the 33 credit hours, which is your 26-month program, it's $850 per credit for a total of $28,050. The technology fee is $50 per class, and that's for 11 courses, and then $550. So Joe, tell us, if they decide on the fast track, how does that tuition plan work?
Well, the way that works is you pay 100% for your first class and only 50% for your second class, which, you know, in aggregate, that's a 25% reduction, which is huge.
Yes. And so for the person who can do it fast, there is a savings for sure. This time of year, when we have the $1,500 additional upfront, you know, early admission scholarship, we will also waive your application fee. That just helps you to get your application in, to get started on the journey, to make sure that you're going to go forward from that standpoint. So I think the final questions, I'm sure we ask Anne this, we'll ask you, and then I'll ask her to tell us if that did help. Will this degree help you attain your goals? You know, some of you sit here with really big goals. Some of you are not totally sure. One of the most important things is the program's scheduling requirements for successful completion going to be workable with your schedule. Are you a good time manager? Is it exciting enough that you feel like you can get to the point where you can make a real track in doing it? Maybe you have to sacrifice something in your personal, if you've got a support system, whether it's a wife, a husband, a girlfriend, a mom, or a dad, you know, have to say, I got to get in a room and finish a paper tonight. So I need you to help me here. And make sure you really look at the financial aid options and help make it more affordable for you for writing those essays for the scholarships. And can you start and finish? We're very blessed with a very high rate of completion. If people, you know, do have to go out for an 8-week period, we try to be very understanding and get them right back in there. We don't recommend it because you kind of lose your stroke there. And I guess before I go into the very final stuff, and did you look at these, Anne? Did all these work for you? Did all those categories work for you?
Yes, I have to be honest. As you mentioned, I think you have to commit yourself and look at your own schedule. Where are my strengths and weaknesses in terms of am I a morning person or evening, whatever? And I found that the support I received from my fellow students as well as my professors always helped me to continue. I had received my PhD in 1999, so it was 17 years since I'd been to school. And I remember my first class, I wrote to my professor, oh, I think I made a mistake. I should have. Turned out she was so supportive, and the program worked out beautifully. I was just a little overly apprehensive, but everything worked out beautifully, and I made some very good friends, especially you mentioned my friend Bernadette, and I met incredible people from all over the world, from diverse backgrounds. So it was really a blessing.
thank you, Ann, and we can't thank you enough for your gift of time tonight. So
My
I think,
pleasure.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, my pleasure. I really was happy to do it, and I thank you for all of your wonderful
Thank you.
contributions, and I wish all the prospective students all the best. I hope everything works out for you.
So I think the other thing is, okay, I have spent all this time and money and really buckled down for 2 years, like Ann said, managing your time and your life. But what you do learn, these are some really strong skills to be able to listen empathetically as support. You don't diagnose mental illness, like you say, that the counselor is a person who is fixing broken people. Listening to and assisting struggling persons, not as a counselor, psychotherapy. I think I often ask people, are you the kind of person that people come to you automatically because they trust you and they really believe that your advice is sound? And if that's already the kind of person you are, this is a very good degree for you to get into. A non-licensed helper would be that referral if the person showed any signs of being a danger to self or others, because we do have people in very many areas, whether it's healthcare or the court systems, but you do facilitate psychoeducational programs that would be like marriage seminars, parenting seminars, seminars at work to help people grow and flourish and become leaders in any kind of business. You do work alongside licensed mental health professionals. Again, she's going to be a classmate who's in wellness and life coaching. Some people go out and get additional certifications, depending on the state they live in. If maybe they wanted to help as a behavioral analyst or something like that, you can get some certifications for that or for life coachings. And also you would refer to a licensed mental health professional and you would learn to know who those people are in your area and they would value. That's one of the things that I've done in the Alumni Association. We now have a website that is everybody's, where they are, if they have a website, what they're doing, so we can all keep in touch and then the public can find help from them. And as we get close here, we also want to know that you build trust so that people will follow you on suggestions, gather data about history, what's going on, offer new perspectives, seek input from other professionals, become more effective in lay ministries, assistant clergies, religious, and a deeper understanding of the interrelatedness of body and spirit, which Ann told us about. And also, I think just the increased opportunity for job promotion, whether you're in military, human resources, educational settings, any of those things. A couple of our military graduates had said, I would have never got the promotion that I got had I not had this education. So again, these are all the different concentrations, and I will be sending out course descriptions so that you can dive a little bit deeper into it. But I think it's important to know the different areas as you read through these, that it can help you be very strong in. So I would love any more questions and answers. For the next week, I will be doing the applications and the interviews. And then after that, it will be Joe Drennan, my husband, who I drug back into education. We met 40 years ago in education. And I think he hears me upstairs talking to graduates. And he said, you know what? I think I'm going to come back and do this. I like this place. And he just went to his first graduation over the weekend. So it was very, very fun. So I think that pretty much completes everything in a nutshell. But I certainly will call you or you call me. I'm going to do that tomorrow and just see if people want any additional information or if they have questions on financial aid or anything. Do anybody else have any questions this evening? Looks like we had 12 wonderful people on here. I know I had some pre-questions that I'll answer tomorrow. But if that's it, God bless each one of you. Thanks again, Ann, for being a graduate on the program. And
My pleasure.
you bet. And if this is the right direction for you to go, I see a chat there. Just lots of thank yous. So thank you so much. And I'll look forward to connecting with some of you and seeing if you would like to go forward. Lots of thank yous here. Thank you. And see if this might be something you want to explore deeper. Again, August is the last class of the year. So want to get in and get going so you don't have to wait. God bless you, everyone.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Bye-bye now.
Bye now.